About 40 years ago, some Republicans started saying they had a better idea about how to run our country and create a better life for our people. They wanted to change the way we operate our country. They called it the Republican Revolution. Now, there was a whole lot of rhetoric around this, but the major points were pretty simple. They wanted to cut taxes for the rich people. They wanted to deregulate business. They wanted to allow large corporations and other economic entities to do pretty much whatever they wanted. And they wanted to send more of our young men either to prison or brutalize many of the rest of them by having them fight in endless, unnecessary wars. And they wanted to reverse the advances which had been made by the civil rights, the women's, the anti-war, the environmental, and the gay rights movements, as well as many of the other progressive ideas of the 60s and 70s. They said that this would make life better for everyone. Well, we have been letting them do these things for 40 years now, and guess what? It hasn't worked. Things are better for rich people. Yeah, corporations and large economic entities, they're making huge profits. But in most ways, average Americans are worse off than we were before this Republican Revolution. Now, the theory of this Republican Revolution was that the rich people and powerful corporations, that they should have more power, and elected representatives of the American people should have less power, because they said the government was the enemy. They also said that if rich people and corporations had more money to spend, why, they would spend it on things which would benefit everybody. That theory is called trickle-down economics. And back in 1980, Poppy Bush, who later changed his mind on this, called it voodoo economics. Because it was a pretty stupid idea. It was pretty easy to figure out right then and there that it wasn't going to work. But, just to prove a point, I guess, we let them keep doing it to us for the last 40 years, and guess what? It hasn't worked. Now, I call this whole thing Ronnie Rodeo's Reactionary Republican Revolution, and I talk a lot more about it in some of my other videos. If you want to hear more details, go look at some of them. But right now, I just want to make just want to point out a few simple facts. All right, 40 years ago, an average American family could have a pretty good life on what one adult made working a single full-time, that is only 40 hours a week job. They could even own their own home. 40 years ago, a college student could afford to go to school, and by working part-time during the year and full-time during the summer, they could graduate with little or no debt. I did that myself. A lot of people did. 40 years ago, if you worked hard and played by the rules, you could pretty much guarantee that you would be able to provide for your children a better life than yours. We used to call that the American dream, and it worked. But then the Republicans announced their revolution, their tinkle-down economics, their contract on America, their wars against drugs, against terrorism, against human rights and freedom. And now, 40 years later, are we better off? Well, I say no. The Republican Revolution was a really, really bad idea. It's time for counter-revolution. Now. Thank you all for your attention. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful, and I hope you will join me again sometime. All of my videos are available at www.daffwold.com.